Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving into the wild ride of a currency that was once more powerful than the US dollar, only to see its value completely collapse. This is the incredible and tragic story of the Libyan dinar. So, let's just start with a question that honestly sounds a little bit crazy. Could a single coin from any country ever be worth more than 3 entire US dollars? It feels impossible, right? But this isn't a trick question, because it actually happened. And there it is, in 1973, at its absolute peak, one single Libyan dinar was worth $3.37. Now think about that for a second. This wasn't just some brief glitch. This was a sign that Libya's economy, powered by oil, was an absolute force on the world stage.
So how did it get that high? And maybe more importantly, what happened next? Well, that's what we're going to unpack today. We're tracing the entire 73-year journey of the dinar, a story that really mirrors the fate of Libya itself.
Okay, to really get how the dinar climbed to such a dizzying height, we've got to go all the way back to the beginning. We're talking the early 1950s, when Libya was a brand new independent kingdom. Right from the start, this currency was built on solid ground. It actually began its life as the Libyan pound in 1952, and it was pegged 1-to-1 with the British pound sterling, which was a huge deal back then. But pretty quickly, Libya wanted to stand on its own 2 feet, economically. First, they broke away from the sterling in '67, and then in 1971, they officially rebranded as the dinar. And that move, well, it set the stage for a golden age. And that decision to go independent leads us right to the top of the roller coaster, the dinar's golden age, a time when its value just skyrocketed. What's really interesting here is that this wasn't just about Libya's strength. It was also about what was happening with the US dollar. It was kind of like a seesaw. In 1971, when the US unlinked the dollar from gold, the dollar got weaker, and boom, the dinar shot up to be worth over $3. Then, just 2 years later, another US devaluation gave the dinar another boost to that incredible all-time high of $3.37. But as we all know, what goes up must come down. After hitting that remarkable peak, the dinar began a long, shaky descent. And this wasn't your typical economic downturn. This was a story driven by global politics and intense international pressure. You can see things started to get complicated. For about 13 years, the dinar was pegged to the dollar. But in '86, Libya cut that tie and instead linked it to a basket of international currencies. But the real shock to the system came in 1992. The sanctions that followed the Lockerbie bombing essentially cut Libya off from the global economy. For almost a decade, that put just immense, crippling pressure on the dinar. And now we come to the steepest, most terrifying drop on our roller coaster. The period after the 2011 revolution didn't just hurt the economy, it threw it into total chaos. The dinar didn't just fall, it went into an absolute freefall. The situation got so chaotic that the very idea of a single value for the dinar just broke. By 2018, with different groups controlling different parts of the country, you literally had multiple different exchange rates, all at the same time.
And this just perfectly captures the madness. I mean, can you imagine trying to run a business or even just buy your groceries? On the street, on the black market, a US dollar might cost you around 7.25 dinar. But look at this. If you were using a certified check from a bank, that same dollar could cost you over 8 dinar. It was a completely broken system. So, facing this total breakdown, the authorities knew they had to do something drastic to pull the economy back from the edge. In 2020, they made a really gutsy and shocking decision. They decided to force all the different rates back into one single unified rate. So here's what they did. To get rid of the black market, they took a huge gamble. They officially devalued the dinar by a whopping 70%, almost overnight. The goal was to make the official rate so close to the black market rate that there was no point in illegal trading anymore. So you see it right there. The official rate went from just 1.4 dinar to the dollar, all the way to 4.48. It was a massive dose of economic shock treatment. So, did that shock treatment work? Well, that brings us to the present day. Let's take a look at the aftermath of that massive decision. Unfortunately, the slide has continued. After another devaluation, as of 2025, it now takes more than 6 dinar to equal just 1 US dollar. It's just a shadow of its former self. And this final comparison just lays it all out starkly. On the left, 1973, you needed less than a third of a dinar to buy a dollar. On the right, today, you need over 6 dinar to buy that same dollar. A currency that was once worth over $3 is now worth about 16 cents. It is an absolutely staggering reversal of fortune. In the end, the story of this currency is really the story of the nation itself. A story of incredible wealth, deep conflict, and a constant search for balance. And the future of the dinar, just like the future of Libya, really boils down to one crucial question. Can stability finally be achieved?